So it's wonderful to have the three of you, along with Natalie and McQueen and I of Spotlight Publishing, to talk about our long-awaited book launch today for The Game Changer. So welcome to you, Justin James, Kerry Cadambi, and Laura Cornell. I think there's a different name down there, so I'm not sure what that. But welcome.
Okay.
Very good. So so happy to have you three on here for us to share what your journey has been in participating on this. So let's start with you, Justin. What has been, how has this experience been for you to become an author and actually share a story that's deeply personal to you?
It's been a wonderful experience. It really made me step back and think about, why did I get into public speaking? Why did I start coaching people? What were those drivers? I had never really stepped back and thought beyond just that top layer of, what was it? What's the story behind it? And it's really helped drive my business forward. Quite have to realize that my story is all about, I got stuck in a career and I felt like I couldn't go anywhere. Everything was done internally for a company. So if I went and applied places, I had nothing to share, nothing to show. I could potentially be sued because it was all intellectual property for a company. And I hear that message a lot when I go and talk to other people that are in the tech industry. And it really opened my eyes to go, that's the message for the business to help me move forward, or to let people know you don't have to be stuck in your career. You are not your company. There's ways to get out there and do stuff. And it's not just, hey, you got all this side project work that you have to magically pick up. And Trevor's like, no, you could do presentations. You don't even have to travel. You could go do meetups in your local environment, your areas. There's tons of meetups all over the place, Rotary clubs, all these places looking for speakers. So you don't even have to travel to get yourself out there to really be able to show what you can actually do. And it's been really eye-opening just to think through that whole process.
It's been life-changing for you, hasn't it?
Definitely.
Very good. How about for you, Laura?
Thank you, Becky. You know, I'm really grateful to have been able to tell my story and publish it. I was not expecting this invitation from Iman. And I had known over the summer that I needed to tell my Me Too story in order to move forward with writing my book. I'm writing a book on the moon salutation, which is a yoga flow created by and for women. And I had a dream in the summer that let me know that I was going to have to tell that story, and that it was going to be like a crash in my family. And I just didn't know how or when it was going to be told in print. Was it supposed to be in that book? Was it supposed to be somewhere else? And then this invitation came to write a chapter about a really hard time in my life that led to me founding my business. And I remember talking to my husband. My story is not that interesting. You know, I've told the story about money for years, but I hadn't told the story of when I was younger, in my 20s, of the really difficult times that I lived through, what happened, and the healing that I had through yoga, and how it helped my whole family when I spoke up about the incest, how it helped my whole family. And so my mom passed that weekend after I had gotten clear on what my story might be, and because my husband Jim was like, this is a great story, you need to tell that part, and about the eating disorder and what that was like from the inside. And so I have to say, standing here now, I feel so grateful. And I was just at a leadership retreat with women. I was directing the leadership retreat last week. And I became aware of how we as women push down or block, or for so many women, our divine feminine, our sexual energy, our gentle inner strength is blocked and frozen because of so many difficult experiences that can happen. And so to be able to write about mine and then talk about how it shifted and transformed, and that now that energy is freely available to me. And I think a lot of women don't realize that it's possible to move through that. And that's why I ended up founding Divine Feminine Yoga. And actually it taught me something that I hadn't known about my own business name, about my own company, because I hadn't really told that story anywhere. So
it's quite a process, isn't it? Yeah. And it seems like telling your story out sets you free. It just kind of releases it out, and it's no longer a secret. It's no longer anything, but it also doesn't have the control over you.
Right.
Very good. And Kerry?
Yes, thank you for having me here today. It was an honor to be able to take part in this book, writing a chapter for it. It's a first for me, writing and putting myself out there in a wider arena. So it's a little bit frightening, but the benefits from it are incredible, and I think they're going to continue rolling out because I can see that my story is often many other people's stories. We all have challenges in our lives, and that's how we learn and grow. And so by sharing my story of difficult times and my path to turning that around and building sort of resources for myself will be a guiding light to others. And what I really wanted to share with people is that there is a mind-body connection, and that our experiences and things that we're taught and told affect us. And they can affect us physically as well as emotionally, mentally and emotionally. But we can make changes to those. We can actually heal and then be able to move forward in a bigger, stronger way. And I wanted people to know that. And I have already seen people responding very favorably to having read the stories. That, yeah, gosh, look, other people have gone through incredible experiences and come out stronger the other side. And I feel like being able to be in a book like this shares these stories in a wider way than one could just on their own in one-on-one contact with local people. So it's a very powerful tool to be able to tell the story on a much wider stage. So it gives me hope, and that's what I hope for others to have as well, is
Awesome.
hope that things can be better.
Awesome.
It's so true that people think maybe my story is not, who wants to hear my story? But once you get it out there, the healing, if it's a healing story, happens. And then all of a sudden you connect with so many people that have the same story or very similar.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you guys so much for being brave and getting your story out there, because as we were working with you and reading the stories, it was touching, and you just see where you guys are now and how you are affecting other lives through your stories.
It's so beautiful. And there's not one of us that can get through life on this planet without something that just shakes us to the core. And I think that's part of life in itself, and it's part of our journey. It's what we do about it is what's the important thing. And so the steps that the three of you have taken have been, and the others in the book, are, and having the courage to stand up and share that story is amazing, because even if it touches just one life, it's worth it. So what do you hope to achieve by telling this story? What, as somebody that you don't even know reads your story and reaches out to you and says something about it, what is your hope for them? Justin.
So I really hope that when people read the story, they realize there is another path that you can go down. You don't have to get stuck in some role that you don't want to be in just because you are the one that's bringing home the income, you have some lifestyle that you want to maintain. There's lots of other options that you can do out there, and a lot of it comes to communication. Being in the tech space where a lot of us don't like to talk to other people. We're great at talking to computers. Like all day long, you can talk to computers. We always love to joke, just put us in the closet, slide some food under the door occasionally, we'll be good to go. If people get into that mindset of, oh, I can't go anywhere, it's too risky to leave, it's like, no, it's like start building up your brand. And before you get there, and I can help you build that brand up. I can help you get up on the stage. You can be confident doing it and understand how do you get your messages across without overwhelming people, without being fearful of the stage and panicked. And so many times I talk to people and they have such great messages. I'm like, oh, you got to share that. It's such an amazing message. They're like, oh, I could never get on stage. But I can help you get on the stage. I've gone through the process. I can help you skip all of that trial and error and all of those fears and help you get over those pieces. And so I love to work with people to help them get into that spot, for them to realize there is help.
Well, you don't have to be a nerd to have fear of getting on the stage.
No, you do not. Yeah. I actually saw a study recently where they just asked people their biggest fear, and getting on the stage actually came out above people saying they fear of death.
Right.
Yeah, so people they don't think of those kind of things until you ask them, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm super, super fearful. It's like, well, it's because you don't know the process. You don't know, well, what do you have to do to practice to get on it. They see people like myself that get on the stage 30, 40 times a year, and you see my polished product. You see 5, 6 years of me going through training and all the trial and error. So now it's this polished thing where if you had seen me when I first started speaking, oh, some of those talks were absolutely horrible.
Yes, I get it.
Probably the information was great, and that's what we all worry, you know, was my hair okay? Is my outfit okay? I don't know if guys worry about that kind of stuff, but
oh, absolutely.
people are listening to your message.
The first time I got on the stage, somebody in the back of the room said afterwards that they could see my knees shaking.
It can be nerve-wracking. And that's where I can help people get over the nerves. And like the biggest tip for nerves is think about it as I'm excited to get on the stage, because excitement and nervousness both feel very, very similar to the body. And if you can switch your mind to going, I'm really excited to get on the stage, it is a whole different ball game of how you will actually get up there and present and how much you will enjoy it.
Awesome. Awesome. And for you, Kerry, what do you hope you will achieve by this? What do you hope people will take away from your story?
Yes. Well, I talked about the mind-body connection, and that's a messaging system. And so I really hope that more people come to understand the importance of that mind-body connection and understanding it and learning to listen to the body. And what I like to help people with is the process to quieting the mind and getting into the body so that you can listen to those messages and understanding the importance of personal growth and how that is a path to having a clearer connection to your intuition. And that intuition, when you extend it a little further, can actually be a connection to a wise and loving spirit guidance that we all have access to 24/7. And it's really a beautiful thing. And I would like to help people access their divine spirit guidance so that they have that, and it can help them, you know, on their personal growth path and moving forward so they can achieve their life's purpose.
Tap into that wonderful tool that we have. Yes. And how about for you, Laura?
Well, it's interesting for me listening to Justin and Kerry, who are friends. Nice to be here with you. And I got to read the most of the book on my way home on a plane recently. I find all the stories touching. You know, I mean, I relate to the fear of public speaking and the excitement of public speaking. I relate to being able to tune into our bodies in order to feel our intuition. And sometimes there's trauma that makes it really difficult to go down into the body. It doesn't feel like a safe place, and so we pop up out. And that's what was happening to me when I was having the eating disorder, when I experienced anxiety and depression in my 20s, and then chronic fatigue from just years of just this tremendous stress. And so many women, and I'm not going to say men don't, but a lot of men do also experience trauma. But I think what we're seeing now with the Me Too movement is just how many women are speaking up. And unfortunately, I think it's not just the last year or two, it's been like decades that we've really had this awareness of what sexual violence can do to us as women. And so for me, so far this story has only been shared with friends. When I was going to get it edited, I went to close friends and I sat there with them, and it was really hard putting this all on paper about what happened to me and the trauma that I experienced as a result. And for me, the yoga, the divine feminine, and then speaking up in my family, going back to the place where the injury had occurred, and saying, let's work on this together, which was terrifying for me, and, you know, nauseating and so many things, and not easy and not quick. but I was really blessed that my mom believed me and wanted to help, and that my dad was willing to engage in a very uncomfortable process for all of us. And that also that I had ultimately the tools of yoga, which for me helped me heal from chronic fatigue and regain a safe relationship with my body. And it can be a long process, but I guess what I would want someone to know is it's possible.
Yes.
You know, it's possible to move through that, you know, if you're willing to go to the scary places in small doses. And if you have a tool like yoga or some, you know, as you said, Kerry, the mind-body connection, some form of regaining that when it's been so broken or frozen. That would be my hope, that it's possible to regain your gentleness, your connection, your connection to your authentic feelings and your authentic embodiment.
Beautiful. Yes, it is possible. It is a journey. Yeah.
And now you're helping others go through, you know, through your yoga, teaching them how to do the same.
So in the process of getting ready to publish, we asked each of the authors to share, like you mentioned, Laura, that you shared it with others in the editing process, but share it out with key people that would support you and understand you. What has been the feedback from actually sharing this with people that you know, love, and trust? And what has been their feedback as far as what they read from your chapter? And we'll start with you, Laura.
Well, I've been really touched by the feedback. I've gotten awesome feedback. I'm getting shivers just even standing here thinking about it. We sent an email this morning from my company, and I put in there 3 reviews that friends had written, and some, that were just really powerful. I don't know if you want me to read one. I don't necessarily need to.
That would be fine. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I love this collection of stories. I was deeply moved by Laura Cornell's journey from incest to the divine feminine. Her Me Too story is vulnerable, brave, and a powerful tribute to yoga's power to heal trauma. Through sharing the poignant details of her personal story, Laura helped me realize just how much yoga has the power to invite radical self-acceptance and to access emotionally painful experiences. Laura also shows how her dedication to the yogic path helped her heal her immune and nervous systems and transform her relationship to food, from binge eating to a healthy relationship with her body. I was also fascinated by the moon salutation's role in her healing, and that's the yoga flow of 16 poses, the yoga flow created by and for women that I'm writing my next book on. I was fascinated by the moon salutation's role in her healing through connecting her more to other women, to the divine feminine, and to the earth. Well, that's just one. I have others like that. I won't read them all unless you want me to. You probably don't.
That's okay. For the sake of time, we don't have that time. But you know, even in your Facebook page and your social media, share those things. And I know you shared them in your emails. So valuable, strong, and powerful. Thank you. How about for you, Kerry?
Well, it's been a wonderful process, and I've felt very supported by community, which is actually what I want to provide to others, is a sense that they're not alone. And so I'll just share a couple quickly. One person responded that it's a powerful story that deeply touched her heart, and that no doubt will help to inspire and encourage others. And another person had said, Kerry's story resonated with me, how a dysfunctional relationship can affect you on different levels, including physical, and which can develop an imbalance between mind and body. And she said, thank you for sharing stories to show people how problems and challenges can be transformed into gifts, which can heal the world at a spiritual level.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. Very good. And for you, Justin?
It was eye-opening. Being an engineer, I'm very, very data-driven. And so when I initially wrote my story, I have a really good friend that's part of a Toastmasters club that was at, Rachel Gurovich, who does tons of writing. She's a professional writer. So I shared the story initially with her, and she's like, oh, you see this, my husband's in the same spot, but you're leaving out all of the details that make the story. where she's like, you told me all of the data, but you didn't tell me any of the emotions, any of the stories. But it really helped me to just realize how much I kind of hold those back and how data-driven I am. And to make connections, really you've got to bring out those emotions. You've got to go, especially in writing, a lot more into detail than even I had realized. And she helped me quite a bit with the story. And then I shared the story with family members, and a lot of them went, oh, we knew that you kind of got to that spot in your career, and then for some reason you started public speaking and traveling. We never quite got it. Now we totally get why you're out there doing the public speaking, why you've done a bunch of the branding stuff that you've done, and how it was kind of empowering for them to realize I took control of my career, so that no longer did I have just job security, because I had total job security. I could have stayed there until I retired, but now I have the security to go, if I get laid off anywhere, I can go get a job I want, not just a job. And so let a lot of people just know that's why I wrote that, and their feedback's just been amazing, and they're really resonating with the story quite a bit when they read it, and everything's been just positive, and it's been really reaffirming to have that energy. I was really kind of scared putting it out there initially to go, I normally don't share a lot of personal stuff. If you follow me at all on social media, you'll realize there's not a lot of personal stuff. It's business related, it's technology related, and just a tad bit of personal in there. And so to put this out there was a big thing, and everyone was super supportive of it.
Well, it's a game changer, isn't it?
Total game changer.
One of the things that I hear from many of the authors is that, usually you're a strong business person, so you don't want to show that vulnerability. And once you do, people connect to you even more and see that you're a real person and want to work with you.
Well, we have to say congratulations. You guys are, this book has become #1 international bestseller already. And so it is because of your own efforts, and you're working with us as far as sharing out and getting the reviews and the number of things that are a part and parcel of a very successful book launch, because it's the social footprint and the clout that is needed in order to really make a difference. And so, a book is pretty much a very powerful calling card. It's that, and at one point you'll probably be writing your own books to, expand upon the message, because this is that starting point, and you're in a good, safe environment to do that because you've had the support system of each other, and through the whole process with Iman and his guidance, it's been a lot of growth, a lot of personal growth for everybody. So congratulations to each one of you, and thank you for being so awesome to work with and in making this come to be a reality.
It has been wonderful working with you.